I saw the £7 credit card alert blink red on my screen. I froze. My thumb hovered over the ignore button. It's nothing, just a small charge. I've got bigger fires to handle. By morning, I would discover just how wrong I was. My portfolio, my carefully balanced investments, would bleed $214,000 in a matter of hours. I didn't yet know which misstep would hurt more, the tiny oversight or the cascading consequences it would trigger. I manage risk for a living. Every day, I analyze ROI projections, scrutinize investments, monitor credit card anomalies, and anticipate regulatory scrutiny. I've built businesses from scratch, stabilized portfolios through market turbulence, and negotiated deals that could make or break careers. Yet, here I was, staring at a trivial alert that could destroy everything I'd worked for. The office was quiet, the hum of my computer the only sound against the rain tapping the London skyline outside. Trading dashboards glowed softly, lines of data scrolling by, occasionally flicking red as if echoing my anxiety. My phone buzzed, a message from Emily, my operations partner. Are you still reviewing the portfolio? I typed a brief reply, fingers trembling slightly, and ignored the lingering sense of foreboding. I can handle this. I always do. Then the first real anomaly hit. A $42,000 dip appeared in one of our high-yield investments. I stared at the screen, disbelief rooting me to the chair. That can't be right. I ran the risk models yesterday. Everything checked out. My stomach twisted. Every alert, every number flashing red seemed louder, harsher, like an orchestra of financial doom. The credit card alert, the portfolio fluctuation, the insurance renewal pending, all converged into a storm I didn't see coming. I ran a mental check. Margin exposure, portfolio diversification, ROI expectations, nothing matched this drop. I opened the investment dashboard again, numbers adjusted, but the decline persisted. My heartbeat quickened. This isn't a mistake. Someone, or something, is moving against us. I could feel the pressure building. Investors expect 18% ROI this quarter, the board demands stability, and yet my hands trembled over the mouse as I hesitated to click approve on the next tranche of investments. Emily entered the room quietly, carrying 2 coffees. "Everything all right?" she asked. I forced a nod, though my throat was tight. I didn't want to admit the depth of the problem. Not yet. "We should have reviewed the exposure before approving the last fund," she said softly, not looking at me directly. The words stung. They weren't accusations, they were statements of fact. I knew I should have seen it coming. I trusted my systems. I trusted my instincts. And now, this. The dashboard flickered again. Numbers I had memorized were now alien, red columns screaming across the screen, $14,000 here, $27,000 there, cascading like a waterfall I couldn't stop. My fingers hovered over the phone. Who do I call first? Investors? Partners? The board? Each option felt like a trap. I dialed the first investor, my voice steady but my gut twisting. "We're reviewing a sudden fluctuation," I said. "I'll have an update within the hour." Hanging up, I realized confidence alone wouldn't fix this. The risk exposure was multiplying as I spoke. Minutes later, an unexpected email appeared in my inbox, a credit card fraud alert tied to the same investment account. My jaw tightened. I hadn't just lost money, the integrity of our systems, the trust of our partners, and my own reputation were all on the line. And it started with a trivial £7 alert. I tried to think clearly. Every step required calculation. Should I liquidate some positions, or wait for market stabilization? The board would expect results fast. Investors would notice any delay. Every second of hesitation could be catastrophic. Suddenly, Emily's phone pinged. Another alert: our insurance provider had denied a claim related to a critical business liability. If this escalated, the company could face regulatory consequences as well. I rubbed my temples. How had all these threads converged into one nightmarish tangle? The dominoes were falling, and I was holding the first one. I could hear my heartbeat over the silence. Fingers drumming, desk tapping, phone buzzing, the room was alive with tension. Every alert, every red line, felt like a personal accusation. My eyes darted across the trading dashboard, tracing patterns, looking for anomalies, for leverage, for any hint I could use to stabilize the situation. A secondary alert appeared. A suspicious transaction from inside the business account. Internal? That's impossible. I clicked through, checking logs, validating entries. Every step felt slower than the last. The adrenaline sharpened my senses, yet my stomach churned. I shouldn't have ignored that 7-pound alert. And now, I was paying the price. I leaned back in the chair, trying to breathe, attempting to ground myself. Each financial decision carried emotional weight. Approving the next investment could either save the portfolio or accelerate the collapse. The insurance denial compounded the risk. Fraud detection alerts made every transaction a gamble. I had to act carefully, or it would all be gone. Then came a call from a competitor's firm. A subtle, strategic move that could destabilize one of our pending deals. My jaw clenched. Not now. Not when everything else is in chaos. I scribbled notes, made calculations, and tried to prioritize the alerts. Which risk matters most? Which will break the company first? Another email pinged. Regulatory compliance review flagged potential misalignment in our hedging strategy. My stomach dropped. Every misstep, ignored alert, delayed investment decision, unchecked exposure, looped back into this moment. The tension was palpable, each minute magnifying financial and personal stakes alike. I called Emily over. We need to review every transaction from the last 24 hours. All of them. She nodded silently, pulling up the logs. Red lines blinked across the screens like warning lights. I could feel the narrative of failure threading itself into every number. Minutes passed. Sweat pooled at my temples as I traced patterns, connecting dots, minor alerts, ignored transactions, overlooked investment clauses, all had compounded silently into this crisis. My hands trembled as I hovered over the confirmation button for a critical transaction. Approve now, or risk losing control entirely. Suddenly, another alert. An unverified transaction, larger than any before, popped up. My stomach lurched. Fingers froze over the mouse. If I approve it, the portfolio could collapse. If I don't, we might lose investor confidence. I breathed shallowly, trying to remain calm, calculating every outcome. Every decision now carried the weight of millions and my reputation. The dashboard numbers blinked, hovered, and dropped. A chain reaction I could feel in my chest. Alerts, email pings, red columns, phone vibrations. They were relentless, looping anchors reminding me that every tiny, ignored signal had led here. I ran simulations in my head, each scenario bleaker than the last. Emily broke the silence. Do we alert the board now? I shook my head. Not yet. They'll panic. First, we stabilize what we can. Then we present controlled damage. My voice was steady, but my heart raced as though it were trying to escape my chest. I could feel the epicenter of this storm, and I was standing in it. Minutes later, a subtle email arrived. One line, pending investigation, unverified transaction. My chest tightened. It wasn't over. Not by a long shot. My thumb hovered over the mouse, caught between action and paralysis. Every missed alert, every overlooked detail, every assumption, it had led to this point. I gripped the edge of the desk, sweat cooling on my palms. Numbers on the screen blinked red, a visual echo of every decision I had made, or failed to make. I whispered, could I fix the next one before it's too late? The city lights outside shimmered against the rain-streaked glass, indifferent to the chaos inside. My office was silent except for the hum of machines, the pinging of notifications, the rhythm of my racing heartbeat. I closed the laptop slowly, eyes lingering on the blinking line, unverified, unexplained, unstoppable. For now, the portfolio had survived. But tomorrow, the audit, the investors, the hidden risks, they were waiting for me. And then the dashboard blinked red again.